I'm Coach Miller, and welcome to All Marine Fighter, our Aftermath edition. I'm a few days late with this one, but the Zepeda versus Mercito Gesta fight was awesome. Absolutely awesome. I gotta tell you, Zepeda is ready, absolutely ready to dominate the 135-pound weight division. I gotta tell you, because Devin Haney's not going to be at 135 that much longer. But if that fight doesn't work out, Zepeda is good enough, in my opinion, to dominate the whole division. Zepeda, right off the bat, did not fear Gesta. There was a few shots back and forth in the first round, but Zepeda walked Gesta down. Now, Gesta's got a reputation behind him. He's got a good crowd following. He's a Filipino fighter. So, you know, I'm pretty sure it was Manny Pacquiao's logo he had on his shorts. I'm not totally positive. Maybe it's his own, but it was kind of very similar to Manny Pacquiao's at least. But anyways, he's not a bad fighter. He's pretty good, but he took this, I'm going to just fight off my back foot, because you had two left-handers fighting, okay? You want to watch sometimes what can be a boring fight? Two left-handers fighting each other is quite hilarious, okay? At its minimum, at least. But left-handers are, well-known counter-punchers. But Zepeda, being a left-hander, utterly aggressive. Quite impressive, by the way. But before we get there, talking about Gesta. Gesta got, what I would say, hurt in round number 2. He got rocked. I think that's pretty much the turning point at which he decided he was going to start fighting backwards. And for some weird reason, he kept sitting on the ropes, taking the pounding from Zepeda. Just punch after punch, his soul was just, the willingness to fight was just ripped out of him. Gesta, constantly fighting off the back foot. He couldn't get a step forward to basically put the fight to Zepeda. He was trying to counter, but it just wasn't working. And of course, hey, by round 4, Gesta was back on the ropes trying to taunt Zepeda, and Zepeda was just punishing him. I don't get this. Gesta, back to the ropes, okay? I can understand if you're dodging punches and you're countering and just nailing people, right? Oh, fine. But he was taking some nasty shots from Zepeda, and boy, were they going to rack up as the rounds pushed on. But if you're taking that many shots, why are you sitting on the ropes? Get off the stupid ropes. Gesta's tactics to this fight was just ridiculous. And he deserved the butt whipping that he got from Zepeda. Probably the biggest thing about this fight was there were so many punches. Just through round 3. Round 3, Zepeda landed 146 punches through 335 punches. Gesta only had 54 through 198. That's only through round number 3. Round number 3. Gesta would continue to fight with his hands down as well. And he did something. Now, these are two left-handers, okay? Now, I was a left-handed fighter when I was fighting in the amateurs, okay? And I was Olympic trained. I didn't go to the Olympics, but I am Olympic trained by Olympic coaches. And I was that, textbook counter-puncher, okay? One of the things that I used to love to do to fighters, especially as the rounds carried on a little bit and people got a little tired, is when they would not engage and they would back up, instantly the hands would come down. And you know what I would do? I'd follow up with a jab right away. And almost always you would just catch them clean. That's a point. Even if they're on the step back and you're not going to necessarily hurt them with that jab because maybe it's just the momentum shifting forward as they're going back, you still caught them. That's a point, And that racks up over time. Well, that's exactly what Zepeda did to Gesta. Every time that Gesta would back up, he'd have his hands drop, and Zepeda would fire the 1-2, boom, and catch him going backwards. Point after point after point. And really, as Zepeda came moving forward too, you could tell that Zepeda did not respect Gesta's punch. Maybe he didn't hit hard or whatever, or maybe Zepeda just really got that hard of a chin. He just really did take it. But Gesta wasn't really firing much back, and so Zepeda basically walked him down. And here's the thing about what Zepeda did that I made my statement in the intro, like he's ready for the 135-pound division. Here's what he did. Zepeda was the perfect example of what young fighters should be. What do I mean by that? He is stalking Gesta. Okay, now Gesta's a counterpuncher. He knows he's fighting against another left-hander, counterpunching, okay, and you don't want to get caught. He was stalking Gesta, hands up, coming right inside. Unbelievable. His movement was awesome, side-to-side movement, hands were up, coming in, covering his face, and just coming in at different angles with the punches. It was beautiful. Absolute boxing lesson against Gesta. It was unbelievable. I mean, Zepeda really put on a show last night. And really, it's not that he put on some spectacular knockout, although the fight would be stopped and he would get that, I think it's what, a TKO? Yeah, I think it's considered TKO. Anyways, he'd still get the stoppage, but it was the manner in which he got the stoppage. Just laying on the punches, just putting on the gas. And really, I have to tell you, anybody who's been watching my channel for a little bit, I do have a criticism for a lot of young fighters. They tend to think that they're Floyd Mayweather, okay? And so they'll fight with their hands down. They'll have this modified Philly shell or try to do the Philly shell, but they're just not fast enough. Their reflexes are just not fast enough. And look, Floyd Mayweather was brilliant at using the Philly shell. He was gifted with talents and abilities that you're just born with. The peripheral vision and the reflexes. I mean, you're born with that kind of thing. Much like a Deontay Wilder or Mike Tyson with the crazy, insane power, right? That being said, young fighters, look, you're not Floyd Mayweather, so stop it. That's why all these young fighters keep getting knocked out or stopped or their face is all battered up because they just keep catching all these shots. It's so much easier to fight with your hands down because you're lazy. It's hard to keep your hands up. It's hard to do that. It takes strength. It takes energy out of you, So young fighters just don't want to do that. But what Zepeda did, coming in, hands up, great technique, slipping punches, coming and firing the shots. I mean, it was a great example of not only being crisp, clean, orthodox, but putting your own little flair to it as well. That's the example that young fighters need to imitate. I have not seen many young fighters right now doing that sort of thing. And it's unfortunate because there's such good talent right now and they're just getting their faces bashed in because they think they're Floyd stinking Mayweather and they're not. And it's really unfortunate too. I mean, it's their career. They can do what they want. If you get your face bashed in and you catch a loss, well, you're just going to get knocked down to journeyman level. I mean, that's on them. But people remembering to get back to the fundamentals. Zepeda, he glorified that. That was awesome. I highly recommend you get a chance to watch just some of the highlights. It was a DAZN fight that this card was on. It was the main fight for a DAZN card. But anyways, if you get a chance, watch the highlights of that. Watch how Zepeda closes the distance. Unbelievable. At the time of the stoppage, 286 punches were landed by Zepeda, only 85 by Gesta. You had basically a 46% versus a 26% punch landing. The amount of punches that were thrown just shows that Zepeda was in excellent shape for this fight. Absolute excellent shape. Now at the end, the announcers were saying that Zepeda is ready for the 135-pound division and essentially Devin Haney, who is the undisputed champion. I will say this. I think that fight will be a good fight. I think Zepeda will close the distance with Haney because Haney's a boxer. He's not going to sit there in front of you and just trade hands and just trade shots back and forth. He's a boxer. He's going to move around, okay? Zepeda is going to put that pressure on him, and that would be a great fight. It would be a great win if Zepeda were to actually, obviously beat Devin Haney, become undisputed, right? But it'd be a great win for Haney because that is a tailor-made fighter for his kind of style, and Zepeda would really put him to the test. So I think Devin Haney and Zepeda would be an excellent matchup, but I'm not so sure that Golden Boy is going to match Zepeda up with Haney. They'll talk about it. I think Golden Boy has learned the lesson of what happens when you put slick, extremely fast boxers with Mexican hard punching, come forward kind of fighters. I don't think Zepeda necessarily fits that total mold, but I think it would make an excellent fight between him and Haney. As far as any of the fighters in the 135-pound division, I think he could fight anybody. Tank Davis is there too. Shakur Stevenson, he could fight him. There's other folks. But either way, I really look forward to this young man and his career and the show that he's going to put on. I just really hope that he doesn't lose the fire that's inside the fight. He's already got quite a few fights already. And you'll notice that a young fighter has to make some decisions that he's going to keep that fire burning to keep going, because once those fights start racking up, that fire starts to dwindle a little bit. So you got to give that guy something to reach after, something to go for. So we'll see what Golden Boy does with this young man, but I really look forward to seeing him fight again. What a great, entertaining fight. If you like this video, go and click that like button. And of course, if you are not subscribed yet, click that subscribe button right now. Come on, do it. Until next time, stay motivated.